Welcome, folks. I'm Jaby Koay, joined by Achara Kirk.
Sup?
We're looking at Black Widow, alternate ending deleted, scene revealed from The Cosmic Wonder. Thank you, Cosmic Wonder, for allowing us to react to this. Very much appreciated. Y'all, if you haven't already, subscribe to Cosmic Wonder. There's a link in the description below for the video we're about to look at. If you want to scroll on down, click on it, give the original an upvote, and subscribe to them. Also, please subscribe here and vote this video up. All right, here we go.
What's going on, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU, and today we have a deleted alternate post-credit scene that would have been in Black Widow if they had decided to go this route. And depending on your views, you could actually think that this would have been a better post-credit scene for Natasha. I actually think that they could have thrown this in with the other post-credit scene with Mason and not had to choose between the two of them. They could have done this one first and the one with Mason and the Quinjet after. But I'll let you decide for yourself. I'll show some clips and the stills so it doesn't get copyrighted, but I'll show it nonetheless. Then of course after I'll break it down and we'll talk about what exactly this scene would have meant if it was kept in the movie. And we also do have some rumors flying around about Scarlett Johansson and Disney. There have been some rumors going around talking about how Scarlett won't ever be in another MCU project again. I'll break that down after this. And of course, if you love Marvel and want to stay up to date on everything that's happening, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos.
Already done.
Okay, so it's about a minute long, and we start off by seeing a motorcycle come down a street in a neighborhood. We then see some kids run outside of a house, and we see the motorcycle ride even more down into the neighborhood. As we see the kids in the neighborhood play a little bit more, we can actually see that they're acting and playing like they're the Avengers. We see two little girls run by. One of them seems to have some type of wings on her back. She could be acting like she's Falcon. The girl behind her has black bands on her arms, acting like she's Natasha. Then a boy runs by that has the same black bands on as well, acting like he is Natasha. We then see a kid with a bow, obviously pretending like he's Hawkeye. And we also see a kid jumping on a trampoline with a small Captain America shield. Kind of like a one for toddlers that you would just go to Target and pick up. So as these kids are playing Avengers, Natasha comes around the corner, stops her bike, gets off, and takes her helmet off. She looks up, and the house that she grew up in as a child for those few years with her so-called family, with Yelena Belova, Melina Vostokov, and Alexei Shostakov, aka the Red Guardian, and we can see that it's a rather emotional scene for her.
I'm feeling emotional.
At the house, reminiscing of her past, clearly very emotional. Some of the kids that were playing Avengers walk by her. The kid with the Captain America shield runs right by her. However, the little girl who was playing like she was Black Widow recognizes her. She walks up slowly behind her, checking to see if it really is her. Natasha smiles at her. Then the little girl, realizing that it's her, holds up her arm with her pretend Black Widow bracelet and gives her a little Black Widow bite. Natasha holds up her arm and pretends to do the same back to her, and that's the scene. Now keep in mind, this is not an alternate post-credit scene, this is an alternate ending, which I assume will be released when the movie actually comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, or wherever you want to buy it. I'm sure it's going to come out with the film. But this would have replaced the scene with Mason, where she rides up on her bike and she gets the Quinjet. And that scene really has more connections to Infinity War, because we know that after she gets in the Quinjet, she goes and breaks some of her fellow heroes out of the raft. So I can definitely see why they went with that scene instead of this scene. It connects a lot more to the events that were about to happen in Infinity War. However, although in the MCU's timeline, Infinity War had not taken place yet, in real life, it had. And I think a lot of people realize what Natasha would go on to do. She would go on to fight in Infinity War, and then Avengers Endgame, and then ultimately die. And since we ourselves, and a good majority of the people know that, I think this alternate ending is a little bit more emotional. And I think it kind of ties you into Natasha just a little bit more. You feel for her one last time. And I think it really just depends on what you would want to feel at the end of the movie. Would you want to feel a more emotional connection to Natasha?
Yes.
A kind of happy, emotional scene right here where we see that she's inspired little girls and little boys as a hero and not as a Russian assassin? Or would you have wanted what we actually got? A setup for what happens in Avengers Endgame for what we actually knew was going to happen. And I actually think that they probably could have done both. They could have shown this scene and then shown the other scene with Mason. Now, clearly the movie was super long and they needed to cut some parts, but I feel like if you took a little bit out of this scene and then took a little bit from the scene with Mason and the Quinjet, you probably could have put them both together. Because think about this, and this is actually why I prefer this scene over the Quinjet scene. This would have been the last time that we saw Black Widow. The last time ever seeing Natasha on screen. If you take away all of the different multiversal aspects of it, the variant aspects of it, yes, perhaps we could see a variant of her one day, or maybe not, depending on the recent reports, which I'll talk about at the end. But if you put all of that aside, this would be the last time that we actually get to see Natasha in the MCU on screen. And for that sole reason is why I actually prefer this deleted alternate ending.
I think that this ending is way better.
It's so much stronger.
Yeah.
I'm not even watching the full scene. I'm just listening to him narrate it and watching it just through like fuzzy clips, and I'm about to cry. I would have lost my shit if I'd seen this in the theater. Like, it's so emotional. This is what she means to people. This is what she means to like the younger generation who are looking up to her, and this is what she means to us. I feel kind of robbed that they didn't do that.
Yeah, they really should have.
I'm a little upset.
They really should have gone with this ending. I mean, they could have done both. They could have given the twin jet thing as a post-credits thing instead of the one we actually got.
Yeah.
There's this assumption that everyone would watch this in the order of release. The thing about it is, if you think about it 10 years from now, when kids are going back and watching all these films, they're going to be like, wait, why is she dead in the credits? It's like, so it's giving away what happens at the end of what happens in Endgame already.
Right,
You know, they really shouldn't have had that ending that they did, the post-credits scene that they did. I think the Twin Jets thing would have been better as a post-credits scene for Black Widow, and this is the actual ending. It roots you into the emotional connection. It's like, that's her story.
Yeah, this is her. This is her legacy.
Exactly.
And like, I feel robbed. I'm sorry.
Because what happens is it's just a not a lost leader, but a Trojan horse for other stuff.
Right. Yeah.
In the Marvel franchise, as opposed to just giving Black Widow her film. And that's it. Nothing more, not trying to advertise anything else, but just Black Widow's movie. You already got a lot of the new Black Widow, Yelena, in the movie, so you already got your Trojan horse in. Let her at least have the ending. You know?
It's so moving as well. Like, I feel messed up.
Because it actually shows Natasha in a very good light. Because the Black Widow movie is all about her. This is her film. It's about her tackling her past. It's about her coming face to face with Dreykov again, about her coming face to face with Antonia, Dreykov's daughter, who they had been teasing us since the very first Avengers film. The whole story is that she was an assassin before, she killed a lot of people, but ultimately she turned good and did what she had to do to go down the right path. And in the movie, they actually kind of talk about this, Yelena and Natasha. Natasha says, I was trying to do something good, be more than just a trained killer. And Yelena says, you're fooling yourself. We are still both trained killers. I'm not the killer that little girls call their hero. This is a direct reference to that line that Yelena drops. That exact conversation where Natasha is clearly stating that she wants to be more than what she had been. She wants to be a hero. And what this scene does is actually solidify the fact that she is indeed a hero. And she's a hero not only to us, but to the actual people inside the MCU. She made a real impact. Little girls and little boys are pretending to be her because they look up to her. And that's why I personally really like this scene better than the one that we got. Not that I didn't really like it, I just would have preferred this one. I think it means a lot more to the actual
this ending didn't impact me emotionally at all.
She was going to go break people out of the raft and go start the events that happened right before Infinity War and then jump into Infinity War.
It's just connecting.
This ending is more like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, there has been some news about the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit against Disney. According to some reports online, Disney has banned Scarlett Johansson cameos in any further MCU movies. Not like that would ultimately matter because, again, we know she's dead, but if this is true, this kind of eliminates any possibility for her popping up as a different variant of herself down the road.
I don't know about that. I think Kevin Feige would fight for her. If there's a possibility to reintroduce her somehow, I think Kevin Feige would fight for her.
And I think if the fans kind of got behind her, or if the fans made enough of a hubbub about it, then maybe they would.
Who knows? I mean, look what happened with Warner Brothers and Cyborg. Like, you know, after watching the Zack Snyder cut, I would really love to see a Cyborg film or something, you know, more with him and that actor and that character. I'd love to see more of it, but what are the chances of it, you know? I mean, Scarlett Johansson has
a lot of pull, though.
She's been part of this for so long, so I would love to see her back if there's a possibility. I was actually hoping that Black Widow, the film, was less of a Trojan horse for Yelena and more of showing us how she can come back.
Now, a lot of people have asked me about this, and I have looked for sources online, and some of these news articles don't quote any sources. So I will throw a disclaimer out there that this might not be true. At least Disney hasn't publicly stated it yet. However, I would not be surprised surprised if it is true, because this whole lawsuit definitely has to be a strain on the relationship between Scarlett Johansson and Disney. And it seems like people are truly divided on it. From what we've heard, Kevin Feige is pretty mad about the whole entire thing. Disney, of course, isn't happy either, and of course, Scarlett isn't happy.
Just so y'all know, lawsuits happen all the time. It's a very regular thing.
Yeah, but it's a pretty surefire way to make someone pissed at you.
It's only a problem because it got out, because word got out. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when Peter Jackson was doing Lord of the Rings, he had to sue the studio while completing post-production. So he was going back and forth between post-production on the project and dealing with the legal matters.
What was it about?
I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember exactly. So y'all have to. After he did Lord of the Rings, he did the prequel. So obviously that relationship was just fine. I don't think lawsuits will sabotage a relationship. It's when the lawsuit creates bad publicity, then it sabotages the relationship potentially.
Fair point.
Again, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, but hopefully they figure something out soon and everything gets resolved, because it would be pretty cool to see Scarlett Johansson revise her role as Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, of course, down the road playing a variant of herself in Secret Wars, perhaps. I personally think we're going to see a lot of different variants down the road, and hers is one that I would really like to see.
Yeah.
I think, of course, this is all going to lead to Secret Wars eventually, maybe 7, 8, 9 years down the road, where we're just going to be seeing multiple different versions of multiple different characters, and I think Black Widow is one that a lot of people would really love to see, so hopefully things get worked out. But in the meantime, let me know what you think about this alternate ending for Black Widow. Would you have preferred this, or do you
100%.
like the one that we got and that one was fine? Be sure to tell me in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe.
This ending was so much better.
So
much better. I think that this ending would have been way superior, and so thank you, Cosmic Wonder, for spelling that out for us and letting us see that.
Yeah.
Also, in terms of lawsuits and stuff like that, I know that this isn't the film industry, but I mean, they're getting into it. I think Apple and Samsung have sued each other a bunch of times. And Apple has used Samsung products, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I totally get what you're saying. So, yeah, who knows? But regarding the Secret Wars that he's talking about and having Natasha come back, if he's saying it's like 7, 8 years down the road, won't Scarlett Johansson be too old? I know that there's a lot of like really great de-aging effects and whatnot, but with her character being a variant and what we've seen in Loki, you could as well just have another actress.
If it's possible to have Scarlett Johansson at 50 years old still do her role, I would love to see that. Even if it's with like the makeup technology and stuff like that, or even if she's an older person, I would still watch her.
Yeah,
and it has to do with that built-in nostalgia. It's a familiarity. I'd rather see her old than some new person I'm not familiar with. But that's me being stupid.
No, and I totally get it, and I agree. But I'm just saying that there is a precedent for it not being the same.
No, of course.
actor.
I think that it's cool to introduce new people and give new people a shot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, she's been around so long, and she's one of the few like strong female characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we all know and appreciate. I mean, I know more and more are coming out all the time, obviously, you know, but she's a special one, you know. She's been there since Iron Man 2, if I'm not mistaken. If there's a way to keep her in the MCU, I would prefer to see that.
Yeah, and I really love how as we've had more movies with her, like she's really grown.
Yeah.
Because I think in the beginning I was kind of like, okay, whatever. And then as she started appearing in more and she had more, like a bigger role, you really got to see her shine, and I really appreciated that.
We're not going to stop watching the movies if she doesn't come back.
Yeah, no duh.
So, you know, but like if it was up to me, if I had a say-so or a vote in this, I would say work it out with her and bring her back if possible.
Yeah, Disney.
You know, what can you do? You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and let us know your feelings in the comments below. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.